Scorpio, listen closely, because the moment your eyes landed here, something in your spirit already recognized the truth. This message did not arrive by coincidence. You were guided, you were summoned, and not by me, but by the same force that once whispered visions into the mind of Nostradamus, the mystic whose prophecies have survived centuries of war, kingdoms, and shifting worlds. His writings spoke of a sign born from shadow and fire, destined to rise in a golden cycle after a winter solstice marked by the number 25. And Scorpio, that sign is you. Something extraordinary is approaching after December 25th, 2025, and the energy around it feels almost ancient, almost familiar, like a door your soul remembers even if your mind does not. Nostradamus wrote of the phoenix whose wealth shall multiply when the cold sun is crowned, a cryptic line scholars debated for generations. But for those with intuition, those like you, it is unmistakable. The phoenix is Scorpio, the crown is the planetary shift, the cold sun is late December, and the wealth is the era you are about to enter. If you've felt restless lately, waking up at strange hours, sensing endings and beginnings colliding, noticing financial or emotional patterns breaking apart, these were not random moments. They were tremors of alignment. Nostradamus believed that before a prophecy unfolds, the chosen soul experiences a rising pressure of destiny, a subtle tightening in the spirit, a call to attention. Scorpio, that pressure you've been feeling? That's your prophecy knocking. The energy of 2025, especially the period after December, unlocks something that has been held back for years. And it's important to understand this. It's not arriving because of luck. It's arriving because you've survived enough, healed enough, grown enough, and awakened enough for your destiny to finally catch up with you. Nostradamus described this moment as the year when the Scorpion claims the wealth withheld by the storms of the past. Think about everything you've walked through in the last 3 to 5 years, the betrayals that carved you, the disappointments that left you numb, the relationships that failed you, the jobs that drained you, the dreams that stalled. Nostradamus wrote that the phoenix must burn before it rises, and Scorpio, you burned quietly, bravely, fiercely. You shed versions of yourself no one knew existed. You carried burdens no one saw. You endured storms that would have broken others. But you didn't break. You transformed. The prophecy says that the golden era begins only after the shedding is complete. And for you, that shedding ends after December 25th, 2025. What comes next is not survival. It is elevation. The planetary alignment Nostradamus referenced, what later astrologers linked to Pluto, Venus, and Jupiter, creates a rare trifecta of prosperity. Pluto, your ruler, shifts into a position connected with expansion and global influence. This is the planet of rebirth, power, deep truth, and hidden wealth. Whenever Pluto moves, Scorpio rises. Whenever Pluto transforms, Scorpio ascends. And after December 25th, 2025, Pluto opens what Nostradamus called the Vault of the Phoenix. At the same time, Venus brightens your financial house, amplifying your ability to attract, secure, and maintain wealth. And Jupiter, planet of luck, opportunity, and divine timing, crosses a threshold that Nostradamus described as the wheel of fortune turning toward the water sign of shadow. That is why this era is not normal prosperity. It's amplified prosperity, compounded wealth, the kind that builds, grows, multiplies, the kind that leaves a legacy. And Scorpio, when your golden era begins, it will not creep in quietly. It will enter like a flood. But Nostradamus also warned that before the wealth arrives, the truth arrives. The veil lifts, the illusions fall. The people who cannot walk into your next chapter will reveal themselves. Relationships built on convenience dissolve. hidden intentions surface, energetic parasites detach. Nostradamus called these the severings of the phoenix, gentle but necessary endings that create space for destiny. Scorpio, you are not losing people. You are shedding weight. During this transition, your intuition becomes razor sharp. You will know instantly who is for you and who is against you. You will sense opportunity before it materializes. You will feel danger before it speaks. You will read silence more clearly than words. This is what Nostradamus meant by the Scorpio seeing through the veil. Your perception will be unmatched. Your clarity will be absolute. But one line in Nostradamus's writing has stood out for centuries. The phoenix shall be lifted by a hand from afar. Scholars debated endlessly whether this referred to a person, a mentor, a benefactor, or symbolic support. What matters for you is this. During your golden era, someone unexpected plays a role in elevating you. Not romantically, energetically, financially, professionally, or spiritually. A connection that shifts your entire trajectory, a collaboration, a partnership, an opportunity, a message, a doorway. Scorpio rises with both prophecy and support. The golden era also activates your creativity, your ability to build, innovate, think beyond limits. Ideas that once felt out of reach suddenly feel possible, plans align, courage awakens. Nostradamus described Scorpio's role in this period as the creator of new paths, someone who builds their own fortune instead of waiting for someone else to grant it. This is also when Scorpio stops chasing and starts attracting, stops doubting and starts claiming, stops surviving and starts expanding. Because after December 25th, 2025, your life shifts from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "This is happening for me." And Scorpio, this is only the beginning. Scorpio, as the prophecy continues, Nostradamus wrote of a moment when the water sign of the shadow becomes the keeper of gold, and the world shall wonder how the phoenix rose so quietly. This line, long misunderstood, was not about sudden luck. He was describing what happens when long-suppressed blessings finally break through the surface. For Scorpio, blessings are never random. They arrive after you have been forged, refined, and purified by seasons of spiritual fire. And now, as the energy beyond December 25th, 2025 unfurls, your rising becomes undeniable. The months following this date ignite what Nostradamus referred to as the threefold expansion. This was his way of describing a rare energetic phenomenon where the mind, the spirit, and the material world align. Most people experience only one or two of these at once. Scorpio will experience all three. Your mental clarity will sharpen, your spiritual intuition will glow, and your outer circumstances will begin shifting to match your inner evolution. This is the kind of alignment that tends to mark a person's life forever, before this era and after it. Nostradamus emphasized that Scorpio's wealth era would not begin with a dramatic bang, but with a quiet shift. A moment of realization, a subtle sign, a feeling that something has finally begun moving in your favor. You may receive unexpected messages, opportunities, offers, acknowledgements, invitations. Some will feel almost unreal at first because they are things you once dreamed about but never saw materialize. Others may come through people who had underestimated you before, suddenly recognizing your value. This is part of what Nostradamus called the return of what was owed. Energies, efforts, and intentions you poured into the world years ago will begin circling back, finally finding their way home. You may see returns on past work, revived projects, or contacts resurfacing with new possibilities. The prophecy suggests that Scorpio, more than any other sign, receives delayed harvests, blooms that appear long after the seeds were planted. The golden era activates those forgotten seeds. But as wealth and elevation rise, another prophecy emerges. The phoenix must guard its flame. Nostradamus warned that Scorpio's rise attracts both admiration and envy. This does not mean danger, only awareness. Some individuals may try to re-enter your life because they sense something shifting. Others may compete silently. A few may attempt to imitate or challenge your newfound glow. But Scorpio, your intuition will guide you with precision. Not every door that knocks deserves to be opened. Not every message requires a reply, and not every old bond is meant to be revived. In fact, your discernment becomes one of your greatest sources of strength. Nostradamus wrote that Scorpio's power in this era comes from choosing wisely, who to trust, who to collaborate with, who to release. The right alliances will multiply your blessings. The wrong ones will drain your momentum. And the universe will show you which is which with undeniable clarity. Financially, this era opens several pathways. Nostradamus did not predict specific careers or industries, but he described streams that merge into a river of abundance. This suggests multiple income sources, ideas, opportunities, investments, creative ventures, business collaborations. Your wealth won't come from a single avenue. It will flow through diversified channels. This means the energy supports entrepreneurial pursuits, learning, expansion, and risk-taking guided by intuition. He also wrote that Scorpio becomes the architect of their own fortune, meaning this era empowers you to build legacy wealth, assets, stability, long-term gains. Not quick wins, but enduring prosperity. Scorpio's strength is depth, and the universe will reward long-term commitment. Spiritually, this period awakens what Nostradamus described as the eye of the phoenix. It is an elevated form of intuition, a deep knowing that doesn't need proof, only trust. You may experience stronger dreams, clearer instincts, heightened awareness, déjà vu moments, and symbolic signs, numbers, feathers, coins, repeating synchronicities. These are confirmations that your spirit is aligning with your destiny. But beyond prosperity, there is transformation. Nostradamus believed that Scorpio's rise is impossible without inner rebirth. This golden era calls you to release old fears about money, success, visibility, or failure. Every time you choose courage over caution, you activate the prophecy. Every time you invest in yourself, you strengthen the alignment. Every time you trust your intuition, the path opens wider. And Scorpio, there is a hidden part of the prophecy that speaks directly to your soul. From the ashes of betrayal shall rise the crown of abundance. This means that the very wounds that once broke you will become the foundations of the wealth you're about to receive. Every heartbreak taught you resilience. Every loss taught you clarity. Every closed door prepared you for the right one. Your pain becomes your power, and your power becomes your prosperity. As the era unfolds, Nostradamus wrote of a great teacher unseen, symbolizing divine guidance, spiritual ancestors, protective energies, or your higher self guiding you. You will not walk this chapter alone. You will be supported, protected, aligned, and led. Trust the signs, trust your instincts, trust your timing. Then comes the final revelation of the prophecy. In the year of the turning gate, the phoenix shall know its throne. This refers to the moment Scorpio realizes that their golden era isn't simply arriving, it's already begun. That moment of awakening, of internal certainty, is the true beginning of your rise. Wealth follows clarity. Abundance follows alignment. Miracles follow belief. And now, Scorpio, as you stand on the threshold of this new era, take a breath and let these words move through you. Not as destiny carved in stone, but as a potential written in the fabric of your spirit. Nostradamus never believed prophecy was control. He believed prophecy was invitation. And this is your invitation. This narrative, like all spiritual reflections, is a a story whispered to those meant to hear it, a thread woven between possibility and intuition. If it resonates, take what strengthens you. If it does not, let it pass softly like a cloud drifting across a winter sky. This is not a promise, it is a portal, a thought experiment for the soul, a reminder of the power already within you, waiting to be claimed. Scorpio, when Nostradamus spoke of the one who rises from the shadows and walks into a field of gold, he was not speaking of a miracle that falls from heaven, but of a soul who has survived enough storms to finally step into its destined light. And you, in your quiet endurance, in every wound you've stitched shut alone, in every truth you carried without applause, you have become the very prophecy he described. You are not waiting for the golden era to arrive. You are becoming the era itself. Every scar you earned in silence, every disappointment that cracked you open, every time you chose integrity over convenience, all of it has been forming the energetic foundation of a destiny that cannot be denied. As 2025 moves toward its close, Pluto, your ruling planet, your cosmic shadow worker, begins its rare shift into a position Nostradamus subtly referenced in his writings. It doesn't just touch your financial sector, it awakens the deepest, most ancient knowledge within you, the part that has always known you were meant to build something extraordinary. When Pluto unlocks the gates it guards, you will feel it not as a sudden event, but as a summoning, a quiet knowing, a whisper you cannot ignore, a pull toward a project, an idea, an investment, a decision your future self is begging you to make. Nostradamus wrote of the soul who hears before the world sees. That is you, Scorpio. Your intuition, your greatest weapon, will sharpen until it feels less like a guess and more like a revelation. The golden era after December 25, 2025, is not a gift given at random. It is a frequency, one you must choose to tune into, one you activate through decisions, not wishful thinking, and you, more than any other sign, know how to turn silence into strategy. Think of the people you've met this year, the strange timing, the meaningful coincidences, the sudden conversations that felt like signals rather than small talk. Think of the ideas you abandoned because life became heavy. Think of the plans you hid because you feared failing. The golden era Nostradamus saw was never about coins falling into your hands. It was about you reclaiming the parts of yourself you buried to survive. And if something inside you warms, sharpens, or stirs as you read this, understand that it is not imagination. It is alignment. It is your soul remembering a path it chose long before this lifetime. The version of you emerging now is not a replacement of the old. It is the unveiling of the true. Stronger, clearer, sovereign, magnetic. You are stepping into a frequency where nothing forced can remain and nothing true can be denied. Scorpio, the golden era ahead does not promise ease, but it promises something far greater. Worthiness fulfilled. Wealth in Nostradamus's writings was never only material. It was inner dominion, liberated purpose, clarity of calling, and the power to build rather than merely endure. You are walking toward that now, toward a chapter in which abundance becomes a language you finally understand, not a miracle you pray for. And before you cross that threshold, allow one gentle breath of clarity. This message is a mirror, a vision of possibility, a poetic map of what your future could hold. Take what resonates, let go of what does not. Not every prophecy belongs to every soul, and that is the beauty of destiny. It bends toward those who are ready to rise.